Last year was quite the year for a lot of people, myself no included. Let's talk about it. So first things first, trying a different microphone setup. This is the Deity D4 Duo. Interesting little microphone. It has a mic opening on both sides, so give it a try. As I stated in the opening, 2020 was a challenging year between the human malware pandemic, civil issues here in the United States, political issues in the United States, and a few other things. Obviously, the PC space, these Unifans, for example, right in front of me, not being available most of the year. Lots of stuff that you could go into in a 2020 recap. But this is a little more personal for me. This is more of a 2020 recap for me, myself, and I. It was a challenging year for me in health regards. So I want to kind of go back a couple of years to kind of explain this. There was definitely a significant drop off in videos going back to the middle of the year. I really got off to a good start. We did the N2719, we did the quantum kinetic TBE reservoir pump reservoir combo from EK, and a whole slew of other things. And then it just kind of trailed off. And really the biggest reason for this trailing off is because health. Now, I'm not dealing with anything that at this point in time is life-threatening by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something that impacts things. It does definitely make me have to think about what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And so I've really been putting off even doing this video for a while because of those implications. In the meantime, you guys have continued to push me. We hit 500 subscribers this week, and I didn't really expect that to happen, especially considering I wasn't putting out any content. So to go back far enough to understand what I've been dealing with, you really got to go back to 2019. January of that year, I started to have some familiar pain and discomfort, something that I'd experienced many, many years prior, and I knew what it was. And in fact, about a couple months later, I ended up in the emergency room, mostly to confirm what I knew: kidney stones. At this point, it was kidney stone. The plural becomes important later on. So I went, they gave me some pain meds, gave me something to help me open up my bladder and such. And about 3 weeks later, little chunks of stone came out. I thought I was good to go. I did the dumb thing that most men do. I didn't follow up with a urologist or a doctor of any sort. I just figured, okay, we're good to go. Let's move on. Everything's good. Lo and behold, a few months later, I start to get these abdominal pains. They felt like digestive things. So at the time, I thought it was related to increasing an amount of applesauce that I was eating. So thought if I cut the applesauce out, maybe that would help. And for a little while, that seemed to do the trick. Started to feel better. Went about my business. But then the symptoms came back again, realized it wasn't applesauce, and really just this trial and error of removing and adding things into my diet kept on going on for quite some time, until I realized that maybe it wasn't that. Now, mind you, about a year or so passes, and I continue to deal with this off and on. It's not anything terrible. It lasts a couple of days and then goes away. And I'm fine for several weeks. But then it starts to increase in intensity, and it starts to increase in duration. And I'm starting to think that maybe there's something else to it. And then I started to feel a little bit of pain in the sides, that familiar, you can't see it, stuff's blocking the view, but a little bit of pain in the sides, a little bit of pain in my lower back. And I start to think, oh boy, here we go. These didn't go away. Maybe they came back. Maybe I didn't actually get rid of them. Maybe I thought I got off real easy, but I didn't, because normally when you pass kidney stones, it's a really, really painful experience, and mine wasn't. So now we're into the fall of 2020. It's getting worse. I'm seeing a primary care doctor, and we're discussing my options. He gives me Flomax and says, let's, try to work this out, get these stones out of you, see if we can't, pass them naturally. And if in a month you still haven't passed them, let's explore our next option. In the meantime, I am also being diagnosed with high blood pressure. So yay, compounding things, right? And in the midst of that, I try a blood pressure, I'm doing this thing with my hands and I don't know what. So I try a blood pressure medication, and it doesn't seem to sit well with me. I felt like my heart rate was constantly elevated, and a check on my heart rate. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. There are kids talking in the outside. And so I'm checking my heart rate, and sure enough, it is elevated. My normal sitting heart rate is, 65 to 75, and I'm sitting at 95 to 100. So yeah, there is something going on there. Change that. Blood pressure gets managed. That's no longer an issue. But the stones, whatever's going on, the kidney stone or stones, as I would later find out, do not pass. And we decide it's time to get some imaging, see what we're dealing with, and go from there. This is by December now, and I get in and check in with a local area hospital to do the imaging. And about a week later, my doctor gets the results and calls me into his office. And we sit down and we discuss the fact that I have possibly 3 kidney stones. A 12.6 millimeter monster on my right side, a 10.2 monster on my left side, and then a 3.2-ish millimeter one leading into my bladder. It seems to be stuck there. It's time to schedule with the urologist. I get a list of urologists. I schedule the appointment. I go in, and 5 minutes into discussing this, she says, I think you've got a 4th one on the other side leading into the bladder. So this appointment, what is today? Today is the 17th of January. This appointment was on the 13th, so it's just been a few days removed. And that was really surprising to find out not only that I had 3, but I might have 4. And basically they're going to attempt to use ultrasonic sound waves to break up the stones and get them out of my system. So this is going to take at least 2 procedures. Who knows how long it'll take to get through this. The first procedure is scheduled right now for the 29th. I have a pre-op on the 25th, and hopefully this is the start of this process being taken care of. And then a few weeks after the first procedure, I should be able to have a second procedure, and then I can have these stones completely gone from me, recover, and we'll be good to go. The hope for me personally is once this process is over and done with, I can get back into content creation. I want to stream on Twitch once or twice a week, and I want to get back to making videos. I have a lot of stuff that I could do for videos, a lot of ideas I have in mind. And, the Lee and Lee Uni fans, I know they've been out for a while, but they're still really good, really neat concept that I really want to talk about. I have the Fractal Design Meshify 2 XL case. On the test bench over here, I have the Be Quiet Pure Loop 360 AIO. I want to do one more follow-up on the Phantix RGB situation because off to the side in my case, I've seen it happen with the neon RGB strips, and it once again happened with 2 of the replacement digital fan frames. I want to do a follow-up on the state of RGB. I want to do a follow-up on the PC Cooler Corona fans that I was using. No, not that Corona. The fans. I want to talk about those because I used those for about 1.5 years, the pros, the cons, and something that I should have known from the start that I just recently learned. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and I haven't been able to do it. And I'm hoping that once all this is done, I can get back into it because it's really been hard for me to justify spending time on this, which is a hobby, on those rare good days, because one of the things I haven't mentioned is that as time has gone on, it has gone from, 3, 4, 5 weeks of good with a couple of bad to a couple of good and everything else is bad. And anybody who's dealt with kidney stone pain knows that it's brutal and it's exhausting and it just takes everything out of you. I have a friend, Andy, Land of the Cleaves over on Twitch, basically stopped streaming for several months because he ended up having a massive kidney stone. It isn't an easy situation to deal with. So I didn't want to take the few good days that I had and put them into something that's a hobby. Instead, I would take care of things around here, work related stuff, anything that was deemed more important because I only had a very small window to get things done. So hopefully this procedure, the series of procedures takes care of this problem and I can get back into it. I'm not promising anything on the video front. I have mentioned some stuff I want to do. I am still currently compiling parts for my nephew Evan's computer build. I've got probably about 50% of the parts. Still need a graphics card, power supply, and case. I think I have everything else. So I maybe have 75% of the parts, but at least one of those, the graphics card, is impossible to find right now. And I do want to get him a 3060 Ti if I can land one. There's going to be stuff on that. There's going to be a video on building that computer. There's going to be videos when I do the rebuild of my system. Whenever I actually do upgrade, I still want to upgrade to AMD. In fact, I went ahead and grabbed this. This is the AMD Quantum Velocity Digital RGB block. Ready to go in on AMD, just have to wait until I can actually get the motherboard, the processor itself, probably a 5900X, and then memory, because I don't know that memory kit I have is going to work very well. It might not, but we'll see. And then the graphics card, because I do want to upgrade the graphics card because I finally have an upgrade path from the 1080 Ti, but all fluid, all remains to be seen. Still not going to promise anything. If you're not following me on Twitter, that's the best place to find out when I'm actually going to do things and update things. You know, obviously subscribe. Again, thank you to everybody who has subscribed. I appreciate getting to 500. It's a small milestone, and considering that this channel has been basically open since 2012, it's a very minor milestone, and it's taken a really long time to get here, but the trajectory of growth is up. And I really, really appreciate the fact that despite not putting a lot of content out, people are still subscribing. I'm still getting both positive and negative feedback on videos, and I appreciate all of it. I think that about sums it up, though. I've gone on long enough. There's really nothing of significance in this. If there's going to be any more videos, it's going to be reliant on me having 3 or 4 good days in a row. Otherwise, probably don't expect much ahead of this procedure, which again, is, at this point is in 12 days, but we shall see. There's some easy stuff I could do, but I'm not sure I'm going to get to it. So have you dealt with something like this before? How has it impacted you? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, continue letting me know what you want to see me discuss, any video ideas, any product, particularly in the RGB space, that you think are interesting that I should look at. Continue to leave those in the comments below. I'm slowly trying to expand what I'm looking at. I'm trying to get a more diverse portfolio is the word, of products that I have at my arsenal to look at and compare and kind of see how they work. Again, so far, Lee and Lee Uni fans, I have not seen anything significant in terms of issues, but that's a video for another day. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll hopefully see you soon in the next one.